Life is so busy. If you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanfitPro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-empowerment, setting our goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Welcome to A Moment with Mo, a space for meaningful conversations with leaders who move people to greatness. I'm your host, Mo Hagan, and it's been my life purpose and career journey to create momentum to help create positive change in the world. And this platform is just one of the many ways that I can help people to make this happen. And it's always about sharing stories. You know, they say facts tell, but stories sell. Well, in this case, stories help us really explore what it means to lead with passion and to influence with purpose and innovate with courage. All that to be said, I'm thrilled to welcome a trailblazer who embodies all this: heart, boldness, and courage. Jen Govier, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Mo. That was awesome. I appreciate that. Lots of energy.
Well, thank you. And so great to see you. I'm going to say to everybody watching and listening, you got to fasten your seatbelt if you're sitting down, because this woman has more energy than I have. And people say I'm a bit of an energizer. So Jen, so great to see you. And of course, I say to people often, you know, Jen and I met in the gym. You know, they really do say that you meet the best people in the gym. Well, when I met Jen, it was over the training floor, and I'm going to tell you a bit about that in a moment. But often I say it's hard to recognize people when they've got their clothes on, meaning
Yes.
outside the gym.
Right.
But in your case, Jen, you always look as fabulous in the gym as you do right now, and that really is a compliment, because I look at you after a big workout and you still have like your beautiful makeup and colored lipstick on. So that says a lot about just how you show up anywhere and everywhere, being your best self.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do believe when you get up in the morning, like I get up and I start my day, and it's always lipstick. Unless I'm, if it's really, really early gym class, I might not have it on, but I would say I get up and I want to start my day, and I do it intentionally.
Well, good for you, because that is an important insight to how you set yourself up for greatness in life, is what you do in the first 30 minutes in the morning and how you decide to step out into the world. And it really does say a lot about character. And we're going to learn more about you and your journey, learn so much about you. I've been blessed. We met on the gym floor, and I'm always, I always say this because I've been part of the gym movement, the fitness industry for 43 years. But I always say you meet the best people in the gym, the ones that really align with who you are, because you kind of connect. And I got to say, for all of you that are just meeting Jen for the first time, when I first met Jen, I was witnessing you on the turf with your High Rocks training partner, Jess. And oh my God, I was immediately connected, not only by your chutzpah, your incredible strength, but just what the two of you are accomplishing together. It's certainly a fitness friendship, but immediately I felt that connection to you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. And what I will say about you, Mo, is when when we spoke at the gym, I didn't know exactly who you were, but I could tell by your energy. Obviously, you approached us very friendly, but I had heard about you in the gym. I didn't know necessarily what you looked like, but I had heard about you in the gym because people were raving, Mo, whether you were, a senior leader in the business or your front line, you treat everybody with care and compassion. And I was like, when I put that all together, I was like, I was just so impressed, because you matched exactly how people perceive you. So it was awesome.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And, I want to properly introduce you, Jen, because there could be a few in my community that may not know you or have had the privilege of meeting you. And listen up, everyone, because you're going to get to meet Jen in the flesh. A little bit later, we're going to talk about CanfitPro Global, but let me introduce Jen and just give you a little bit of her bio, and then we'll jump in because we have so much to talk about. So with more than 25 years of leadership experience in the financial sector, Jen Govier led high performance teams across divisions like private wealth, risk and compliance, HR, and offshore operations. It was in 2025, Jen made the bold leap, leaving the corporate world to pursue entrepreneurship and founded Huck's Performance Underwear, a brand created by a woman for women. As founder and CEO, Jen transformed a personal frustration into a patent product and a movement. Featured on CTV, I think where I first saw you, Jen, was on BT, otherwise known as Breakfast Television. Jen has partnered with major organizations like Good Life Fitness. Huck's has become a brand on a mission to help women move through their life with confidence, courage, and comfort. Jen's not just an entrepreneur, but she's also an inventor, disruptor, and hands down, one of the fitness females I know. So there you have it, Jen Govier.
Appreciate that.
All right, girlfriend, we have so much to talk about. We're gonna start with your story. We're gonna pivot to entrepreneurship. We're gonna talk about the birth of Huck's. Then we'll announce something exciting that we're doing together at CanFitPro Global. And of course, we're gonna talk about you and my favorite new sport, high rocks.
Woo!
And,
did you get a ticket? Did you get a ticket yet?
Not yet, but I have a friend that asked me about it today, and I was going to hopefully surprise you and say I have one. Anybody out there in the world, if you bought a ticket for the women's division in Toronto, transferable, please call me.
Yeah, it's going to work out, Mo. Yeah, you have the energy. It's all going to work out. You're going to train for it, and it's all going to line up.
Well, knowing you've already competed and won, you're coming to Toronto, so I got to be there to see you and Jess in action. And of course, that's something that gives us something to train for and work for. Let's jump right in. Let's talk about your pivot to entrepreneurship. I did mention it was 2025, like that's this year. So I wasn't
five months ago.
5 months ago, my God. So let's talk about that. Your bold pivot from a very secure corporate career to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. What sparked that decision, and how did you know to bet on yourself?
Yeah. So Huck's, the idea came 2016. So the idea came. So I was building Huck's, in the margins of my day while I had my corporate career. And so it started in 2016. We actually, years of like testing and trying and building this product. And then in 2020, we launched. And then as things started to grow and then things changed in my corporate world, I picked a date. I actually had a business coach that said to me, Jen, you don't need more time. You need a deadline. We had proof of concept. We had women coming back. We had testimonials. And what I would say is, I changed jobs throughout my corporate career. I'd say probably every couple of years. And the last job that I was in was in private wealth management, is, the most affluent, the high net worth clients and advisors and portfolio managers, and I was leading them. And I found in the business, there was more, I would say, competition over collaboration, which totally goes against sort of who I am and what I do. So I was starting to get a lot of friction. I was finding I was getting way more joy spending time talking to women about, just building up confidence and chasing their dreams. And so it was funny. I had a coach, ironically, the executive coach that my corporation hired for me. And I was telling her this challenge that I was having. I said, like, my core values I feel like are being challenged right now. And she said, well, let's go through a values exercise. I said, okay. She said, we went through, what are your values? My top value is health. Then I've got family, friends, spirituality, and meaningful work. And she said, I want you to rank all of these out of 10. So I ranked, the first 4 and, really high scores. And then she said, and then what about meaningful work? And I said, it's a 4. And she said, what would have to happen to move that from a 4 to a 9 or a 10? And without even hesitating, I said, I have to leave my job. I said, day to day coming in, because I believe when you get friction in your life, polarity is clarity. And I was having just like, I was being challenged just in my terms of my values. that my coach said, you need to pick a date. So I picked the date, and I am a person of my word. I do what I say I'm going to do. And so I picked the date. It was January 24th, 2025. And I said, that's the day that I'm going to resign, and I'm going to go all in and bet on myself. And Mo, let me tell you, in the 5 months since I've left and bet on myself, we've signed a contract with Good Life to have access, on their rewards program across the country, access to over the 1.5 million members, 10,000 employees. We are in conversations right now with Moda Yoga. I'm having conversations with a dragon, and like all of this stuff. Once I got so clear on what it was that I wanted and just went all in, like just things have started to just pick up. I'm talking to you. We're going to be, we have something exciting to share a little bit later. But once I made the decision and got clear and really got back in alignment with what's important to me, I believe we rise by lifting others, and it's not competition. There's more than enough for all of us. And as soon as I made that decision, it actually, that I always say to people, when you have that resistance, like pay attention to it. And when you lean in on that, like there's answers there. And I was like, I could have stayed in that job, had a very cushy life. Like I was traveling all over the world. I could, there was just so much abundance, but my soul was not thriving. And I was like, I can't do this. So I made the leap, and I'll say, like, I didn't do it, not scared. I made the leap, and I thought, okay, everything up to this point in my life has worked out. Like the universe has guided me, God, whatever you want to call it, has guided me and protected me. And this is going to be no different. And I have the opportunity to help more women. And my goal is to use my life as an experiment so that I can show people what's possible when you bet on yourself and support other women, what can happen.
Oh, wow. Powerful. So many great tips. And I loved what you said, when you feel resistance, it's like in the gym, when you feel resistance,
Yes.
You need to continue to push through.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to reach that outcome and see what you're capable of. So that resistance piece. And I believe strongly that when you really go to your purpose, that deep rooted emotion, your values, what gets you up every day and what makes you feel proud of yourself at the end of each day, if you leaning into that, you can't get lost. That's what I learned from my coach, is if you will not go down a dark path if you follow your gift being your knowing, your heartful belief in yourself, betting on yourself, or that energy in your core. Sometimes I find it like I lead with my gut. When my gut aches or whatever it is, I have to lean into it. Otherwise, I always seem to have regret that I didn't listen and lean in when that, power was speaking to me.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention. And a lot of people don't, because it's scary. Like there were so many moments where I, like, literally when I picked the date, I was like, I would wake up with like panics because I was walking away. Like part of my compensation was, they paid us in RSUs, which is stocks that vest every 3 years. And so I was leaving lots of stuff on the table. That's part of your retirement plan and all of that. And I'm like, no, I've got to trust this. I've got to trust it. And I was so out of alignment, and I had to be out of alignment though, Mo. If I didn't have that resistance, I would have kept just building this on the side, and I wouldn't have been able to reach as many women. And everything happens on purpose. Like there's no question. When I look back, you don't always get it in the moment, but when you look back, you can like put all the pieces together.
It does. The story reveals itself, but when you're in it, it's hard to see it. And you're absolutely right. Everything happens as it does, perfectly as it should.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just have to have faith. I believe the biggest thing is that we lose faith, right? It's like they talk about, the bamboo, right? Like you bamboo. It's like, I don't know all the details, right? You water, and nothing's growing. Is it growing? And it's just rooting underneath it. And then it grows the most it ever grows in 90 days. And so that's like, you don't keep digging up the seed to see if it's working. It's like, I've planted all of these seeds. I have proof of concept. I have a patent. I have product. We're shipping globally. And so like, just trust in yourself and jump and do it scared.
Jump and do it scared. That's what makes it even more rewarding. Well, let's let's jump into Hux. Let's talk about the birth of it. Of course, it isn't just a product, it's a solution. It was born out of your own life experience. Wondering if you can share that infamous malfunction moment, whatever you want to describe it as, that led to the idea and how it shaped the mission and the innovation behind Hux.
Can I just like say what I can say? Like, is there
You
no
say it. Freedom, girl.
Because there's nothing shy about me. I built a business around camel toe.
You did.
I did. So I was literally at the gym doing kettlebell swings and I got a glimpse of my reflection. I was like, holy moly, there's my camel toe. And I was like, my anatomy is pretty standard. So I was like, what the heck is going on here? And so then I went looking for a product and I couldn't really find it. I was talking to my niece. She was a cheerleader. She's like, Aunt Jen, we use these little sticky things. They go in your shoe and they protect your shoe or your foot from slipping, and they're kind of rubbish because we just stick them in there. So when they throw us up and our skirt comes up, you can't see anything. So I tried it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It works like a charm. It gives you a little bit of a buffer and it's got a sticky thing on it. You could only use it one at a time, but whatever. And then I was going, okay, this like works like a charm. Well, until it didn't. So I was doing laps around the gym, just getting warmed up in our session. And the instructor bends down and picks something up. She's like, what's this? She didn't want someone to she didn't want someone to slip on it. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't tell her it was, what was in my pants a moment ago, but literally that was like the genesis of Hux. I'm like, why isn't this stitched in? And then I just started to talk about it. And then like 30 prototypes later, we had this product and we were maniacal about the details. We went back and forth and we tried to manufacture here because you want to support local, support your country, but the cost for a startup would just like suffocate you. So we ended up going overseas, and we actually manufacture in Asia, in Shanghai. And so it was like back and forth, 30 prototypes, like we've got to get this right. And then we felt really, really good about the product. And then, like I said, we launched it. Like it was 9 years between the time that this was an idea and I left my corporate job. So like, a lot of people would have given up. We had a lot of setbacks along the way. A lot of people thinking we're kind of nuts. Like so funny. I went to Western, talked to the head of engineering, white male. When we went into the meeting, it was me and I actually had two male colleagues that were like, believed in the vision, wanted to help support. So they came with me to this meeting. And this gentleman walks into the meeting. He's like, I have to tell you this conversation with my wife last night, telling her we're trying to solve for camel toe. Anyway, he couldn't help us, send us to Fanshawe. Fanshawe didn't really have the resources, like the idea. Then we went to the city. They were trying to set us up with a local designer, but she didn't have the resources or the machines to help us. And so it was interesting. I always say, like, when you're intentional and you do the work, you don't worry about the how. And I would say to my like, this is going to work out. Like, just trust me on this. They're like, we're here because we love your conviction. I said, guys, things work out. We're doing the work. We were meeting monthly, doing minutes. And so friends of ours were in Costa Rica and they were on their own spiritual journey at Rhythmia. And I get a call from Doug, and it's the husband, and it would normally be Trish calling me. I'm like, is everything okay? Why are you, like, you're in Costa Rica, aren't you? They said, we just met somebody who has her own fashion line. She's been on Home Shopping Channel, worked for Night Guard, Playboy, Nike, and she's going to help you. And she lives in New York. So when you get back, and so when she got back, she flew into Toronto, met me. We originally had a stapled prototype. Like, it literally was so bad. But I had a girlfriend's mom, like, stitched, so it looked respectable. And I'm in Sassafras in Yorkville in Toronto, pulling out this pair of underwear. But she was like, you know what I love? I love that it solves a problem. I love that it doesn't exist right now. And then, like, we just hit it off. So, like, she's like, I don't have to take on clients, but I like the people that that I met at Costa Rica. I appreciate your energy. And so she helped us. She literally had all of the people and the connections in the,
Wow.
Like, it's just like, to me, I've had so many examples in my life. And that's what I try to tell people is, like, just do the work, have integrity, and, like, just everything seems to, there's bumps in the road, but you're being guided.
And surround yourself with people that, as you said earlier, we're here to serve others, lift others up, but surround yourself with like-minded individuals who will support you, challenge you, but also connect you. And it really is, when it comes down to it, it's the the connections that we create by the person we become, that, you know, people want to help others because we all want to see people succeed. And in doing so, you know, we all move each other forward, right? It's like one person can walk the path, but it's bringing people with you. And when you bring people with you, the journey's so much more rewarding, for one.
So
But
much
isn't
more.
that incredible?
Yeah.
I had no idea that Hux has a bit of a Costa Rica story to it. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it was, yeah, it's amazing. And I truly believe like there's enough for everyone. And I would say, you know, my circle and the people that I surround myself, we all believe that, right? Like
Yep.
everybody's showcasing everybody's work, and we, you know, we support each other's businesses. And I always say we're one relationship away from changing the game, right? It's so many people worry about how's this going to work out. Even I have this conversation with my kids, like how's this going to happen? How am I going to buy a house? And like, just do the work and trust things will line up.
Great advice. Great advice. And you said it. I'm going to ask you again, just in case there's something else you'd love to share, because you shared so many tips on how we all should show up and be courageous and welcome the resistance and move through it. For women who are ready to lead boldly, but they're still holding back for some reason, and often it is fear, what advice would you offer to help them step forward?
So I love this question, Mo. I love this question so much because I would say for me, it took me way too long to find my voice and courage, like way too long. And if I can shorten that distance for women, it would be my greatest. Like I would just be so pleased if I could do that. May have been maybe a byproduct of my environment. I was one of 10 kids, and it was more of that environment.
What?
Yeah, one of 10 kids. I have a twin sister. Yeah, it's crazy. So I came from an environment where it was like, you know, you want to be seen and not heard. Like it was like, if you want to stay up late, because my mom was tired, like there's all these frigging kids. So and then they were one of 10 kids. So like if we went out, like my mom would always do the talking because we couldn't always afford stuff. And like we weren't, like, it was just like this environment. So I always held myself back. And so what I would say to people, you know, who, you know, are challenged with that is, like, think of the leader or person you respect the most. And like really think about like, why do you respect them? What do you like about them? And 99% of the time, the reason you like and respect and look up to them, it's not to do with anything technical. It's really on the emotional side and all the skills that you can learn, like empathy, you know, humility. For me, it's authenticity. Like, if you come out talking like a corporate freaking robot, like you've already lost me. I want like somebody to be real and be direct. And so I would say, look at that. And like any of those traits, we can all embody and we can all learn. Because really the world doesn't need like more of this perfect leaders. Like you just need like to be present and learning. And I would also say is like, do the things that scare you. I've changed jobs. Like I literally, you know, started at the front line. I did some work in India, went to HR operations. Like none of these jobs connected in terms of like the skill you needed going in. Like I go into these roles, not really understanding the business, but I always took care of the people. Like I always would support my people. And, you know, you go into a business and it'd be like, okay, like what's she going to teach us? She does, you know, she's never worked, you know, in, you know, whether, you know, private wealth management. I had lots of years of experience in wealth, but I didn't when I first started out. But I would always say I would always take care of my people. So I would say when people are nervous or hesitant, like just like other people are so worried about themselves that they're not even thinking about you. So do the stuff that scares you. You're going to fall on your face. I always say success is a lousy teacher because you don't learn anything if things work out for you. Like I've literally been on stages where my mind has gone blank. And I just started laughing. I'm like, what am I going to do? I was so nervous. And then you just carry on and it actually creates a connection with the audience.
Sure does.
And so I would say what I've learned is when you focus on service, I forget who said this, when you focus on service, you won't be nervous. So when I get up on stages and I still get nervous, but the reason I get nervous is because I want to make sure I respect people's time. I want to make sure that they get value. But I'm not worried about what are they going to like, are they going to judge me because I look a certain way, or it's because I'm here. And if one person is impacted by what I share, that's truly all I need.
Love it. Love it. I've never heard that before. Focus on service. You won't be nervous.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Fabulous. Hey, we have something else in common, girlfriend.
What's that?
I'm a twin.
Oh,
I have a twin sister. You have a twin.
sister, fraternal.
Oh, I'm fraternal as well. Are you older or younger?
Younger, 8 minutes younger.
Oh, I'm 15 minutes older. That's why my mother always said I was the bossy one.
15 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah, boy,
Okay.
that's so cool. I think we're special because when you have a twin, there's something about that. You're never alone in the world,
Right.
even if you don't like them for some of your life.
Yeah. We were very different. We were very different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
sister and I, like night and day,
Yeah.
peanut
Same.
butter and maybe peanut butter and jelly. They kind of go together. We're very close now, but when we grew up, we were like, I could tell you stories. You know how we split the room in half and I couldn't stand on her side. She couldn't stand on mine. She'd
Same.
rent me her clothes. Oh my gosh, that's drama. Anyhow, there you
Same.
go.
Yeah.
We have even more in common than we thought. All right. So I would love to jump right into a CamFitPro announcement. And I'm thinking everybody's going to wonder, why are you talking about CamFitPro here? Because Mo always talks about CamFitPro Global. But for those who aren't aware, I lead CamFitPro, and we have this tiny little conference called CamFitPro Global. It's Canada's largest conference and trade show. It's been taking place for the last 32 years here in Canada to serve the fitness industry. It started to help move the industry in a new direction when that was needed during the 90s. And here we are again in epic transformation within the industry. And so this year, Jen is not only going to be speaking at a session within CamFitPro Global, but also sponsoring the session called She SOARS, Leadership and Legacy. It is the one and only women's leadership networking session. It is really continues the journey that we started with Women Who Influence. And Jen will be speaking, kicking off the session, and we'll be joined by 4 fabulous women from Canada, the United States, and Australia. And with that, Jen's going to share more of her insights and her amazing journey of leadership and entrepreneurship. So once again, that's the session She SOARS, Leadership and Legacy. It's the first panel on Saturday in the morning following the general session. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to camfitpro.com. It's right there on the screen for those viewing, /events 2025 /global. And if you've already registered for Global, then you can also download the official CamFitPro. It's the CamFitPro Global app. You can search it in your favorite app store. And then once you get into the official app, you can search by sessions, by panels, and then on the day, it'll pop up as the first session at 10:45 a.m. So we're going to talk more about that at Global. So you've gotten to know Jen a little bit more. You can come and meet her and learn more about her legacy and also how she likes to help lead and support others and serve not only women on their entrepreneurship journey, but everyone who is on that journey or looking for inspiration to perhaps pivot their career at this time in their life. We're going to jump in and talk about something that we also have in common. Before I do, though, Jen, you've not been to CamFitPro Global before?
I've heard all about it because I've been in the gym for years. So like the instructors would go. And so I've heard so much about it. I've been looking at it online and it's going to be awesome. I can't.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a fantastic way. You know, you can learn online, as we all have learned how to learn online over the past 5 years, but you really cannot soar to the next level in your life or your career without being connected with other members, like we talked about, people who you align with, you connect with, that can help you soar and you help them. It's such a rewarding experience. And, you know, being in person with an industry peers, nothing can replace that connection, that physical face-to-face. So, you know, if you haven't been before, it'll be something you will not forget. It will probably change the way that you approach your professional and personal development moving forward. but it's also an opportunity to meet these incredible movers and shakers, Jen being one of them. So we'll make sure that we give you information about that and talk more about the session. But for now, you've heard it. Jen will be presenting at CanFitPro Global. That's a way to make a presence your first year on stage.
Yes.
Yes. And speaking of on stage, this is kind of one we're going to reverse engineer. Instead of stepping on stage first, you step on stage last when you go on a High Rocks competition journey. So High Rocks, Jen, I'd love you to maybe tell us, a little bit about your High Rocks journey, because it's something you've done already. You've competed with your High Rocks partner, Jess. You are slaying it to go pro this year. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that, and just watching you two crush it on the gym floor, it really says a lot about, your really what you're made of, not only in business, but in your personal fitness and in your personal power. So maybe tell us a little bit about what's been exciting you about High Rocks, and why you jumped into this new sport of fitness racing. And that'll help our listeners and viewers learn more.
Yeah. Oh no. High Rocks by far has been one of the highlights. And so what I love about High Rocks is it pushes you both physically and mentally, because, there's a running element to it. And then there's like a weight element to it. There's 16 stations. I didn't play sports growing up. I was, like I shared, I was one of 10 kids. We didn't have a ton of money. I was allowed to run because running was free. So I was a decent runner. The ironic thing is that you run 8 kilometers in this High Rocks training, but I had a knee injury, so I couldn't really train to run. So, but we worked it out. But really, the biggest thing for me, and you also work with a partner, right? So you really learn how to communicate. She was stronger in some things than I was. And you even learn so much about your fitness, or your food and your sleep and your recovery. Like there were times where we weren't recovering enough. So there was so much learning in the process. And so we wanted to finish in an hour and 20 because we had sort of somebody, another pair that finished it, 6 months prior in Toronto. We were in Miami. We wanted to finish in an hour and 20. We ended up finishing in an hour and 18, which was, we were so pleased with that because we had some errors, right? It's our first time through it. It was like, okay, we didn't do the burpees before. Like there's so many rules that we figured out. So we're like, we're going to go back again in Toronto. We're going to beat our time. But then we went online to get friggin' tickets. We couldn't get tickets. Like at one point there was like 3,000 people, and I waited for 3 hours to try to get through. I couldn't get any tickets. Then when I got in, they were saying they were sold out. My partner was also at the same time, my High Rocks partner. I have a husband, not my High Rocks partner. She got on, she's like, there's only pros left. So like, we're going to do women's doubles pros. I'm like, okay. I always say I like a challenge. And so we're going pro, which means you do the heavier men's weight. And so, yeah. So we'll figure it out. We'll just put the time in and.
Oh, I've watched you.
Happen.
You two got grr. Let me tell you, you're just like, and I'm like, if they can do it,
right? I died. This is what I want to say. This is where I died. Like I was thinking we're in that category. I'm like, okay, we're going to go up a category or age because it's by age. And I was like, so next year we're going to go up to, because I'm 50 in August. And so we're going to go up. And I when we were talking, like thinking we're in the same age category, when you told me how old you were, like I always say your age, you're not your age, you're your energy. You are living proof of that. And I was like, very aspirational and inspiring for me. So keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, 63, and I'm going to compete in High Rocks. And yep. And I'm excited. I got it motivated by a personal trainer. I mean, I went to High Rocks Toronto to view it, and I told you my story about that. I was so impressed, and I thought, I am going to train. I went back home, and I'm a goal getter. So in order to get a goal, I got to actually commit and be accountable. And I often need somebody else, that accountability partner. So I actually hired a personal trainer again, and I've been training since October, that weekend of High Rocks. That's crazy. I don't yet have a ticket, but I'm going to darn well get one. But, I came back and decided it's going to move me beyond what I'm comfortable with. We talk about that too. And I've lifted more weight in my 63rd year than I've ever done in my entire life. I almost cried one day when I squat the most amount of weight I've ever done. But I was inspired by a very young personal trainer who said to me, yeah, Mo, you should compete because in your age group, you do really well. You could win it. I thought, do you think I'm that old? But hey, it was a compliment. That's how I took it. And thank you to that trainer because they went, yes, I can. And here I am on a journey for that.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
excited. All right, Jen, where can people connect with you before they meet you, perhaps in Toronto at CanFitPro Global? Tell us where people can learn, where they can connect with you, where they can learn, and most importantly, shop for their first or next pair of Hucks.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's great. I appreciate that. So I would say we're most active on Instagram. So Huckswear, you can follow us. We love followers. So please follow and engage. And then our website, if you wanted to try Hucks, is myhucks.ca. So you can find us there. I have a page just under Jen Govier on LinkedIn, if you're a LinkedIn person. So lots of options, but most active on the Instagram. I am on the TikTok. My kids keep telling me, Mom, you need to go on the TikTok. So I've done some of it, but it's like
that could be fun.
Job trying to keep up with all this.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, that's why I pay someone to take care of it because I would never be able to keep up these days. But they say you do what you do best and hire for the rest. So there you go. That's a plug to City Media who supports me. And of course, Andrew works behind the scenes to bring all these podcasts to you. Shout out and thank you. Thank you. I do have to say that I am a very happy Hucks performance underwear owner, thanks to Jen. And I love them. And I shared my testimonial with you, but I have to say, being on stage as much as I am, I've always been self-conscious about the sweat in those places. And that alone, not to mention camel toe, but that alone is where I feel conscious, especially when I'm filming. And I've always had to revert to dark colors, especially black. Now I can wear anything and everything. And the moisture wicking away from, the tights, and that has been just a game changer, not to mention the comfort and just feeling really confident in how your clothes fit and how you breathe better. And most importantly, I love it under dresses. It gives you a little more support than just the regular undies. And so thank you for that. It's changed my wardrobe. And as my husband said, Mo, you wear the same 4 pairs. Should I just throw out the rest? And I went, yeah, because I'm not wearing them again.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
Okay.
So as we close today's show, I just want to say to all of you that, think of your journey sort of as Jen's journey, a masterclass in reinvention. I invite you all to think about what that means for you, because when we actually step into that discomfort and we welcome failure, I always say when you fail, as long as you fail forward, then you're falling into greatness and the opportunity for greatness. So we welcome you. We hope this session and this episode has been just kind of like a masterclass. It feels like it. And of course, when it comes to CanFitPro Global, everybody is welcome to come to the conference. It's designed for fitness and health professionals. But if you are a fitness consumer and you are passionate about fitness and even have contemplated perhaps being in the gym and seeing what trainers and instructors do to help those like Jen and I reach our goals, there is opportunity for you as well to learn about a career in the fitness industry. It's all about checking out canfitpro.com and joining us. The event takes place August 15th and 16th, and you can learn more online. So I want to thank Jen and for joining today. It's been just my pleasure to speak with you, and you've really taught me a lot in terms of how we can all soar together by serving the world the way that we authentically show up and being unique. You said, it's not about being a perfect representation of someone else. It's just being you and being authentic and being really connected with your values. People feel that and they see that in the actions that you take. And that, so until next episode, I want to say what I always say, and that is, you know what? Always keep moving forward, because moving forward will lead you closer to Oz, or to your purpose in life. And remember, when you know your why, the path will appear, the way will appear. Thanks, Jen. Thank you all.